Hi, Mr. Osborne here. I'm going to be your online teacher for the next 10 science sessions. Let me tell you something about me. Well, I'm a year 6 teacher at Weston Park Primary School in Southampton. When I'm not being a teacher, I'm a dad to 2 children, which I thoroughly enjoy. I'm mad about Lego. You may have seen in other videos. I've just got this. This is my latest piece of Lego that I'm really looking forward to making. I love Marvel, anything to do with Marvel films or Marvel comics, and I support Southampton Football Club as well. That's enough about me. Let's get to the learning now. Hopefully I can share my screen. Here we go. Fantastic. Just move the video of me over to there. Okay, so this will be session 1 of 10 science sessions. Okay, each time that you join me, I'll run through the format of what we're going to be learning. Okay, there'll be some learning, some knowledge-based learning, and there'll be some quizzes for you to take, and we'll try and get as practical as possible, he says. Okay, so session 1, science session 1. Let's have a look what we are going to do today. Okay, so before we get started, you will need a pencil and a piece of paper. Okay, we're not being too technical, just pencil and paper, and that will be absolutely fantastic. If you've got a ruler, that'll be good as well. Okay, so each session we'll have a little warm-up. Here's a warm-up for today. With the warm-up, you may want to pause the video, say for maybe a minute or 2, then come back to me and we can go through the answers to the questions. Now this one is order these pictures into the correct life cycle. So order the pictures into the correct life cycle. So you might just want to write down the words. Take a couple of minutes, come back to me and we will go through them together. Okay, so you're back already. Now let's have a look at these together. So currently we have baby, adolescence, childhood, adulthood, fetus, and old age. So we know they're not in the correct order. So let's have a look what the correct order looks like. Here we go. So here we go. At the start, number 1, we have the fetus. At this time, a baby is grown inside the mum's womb. Okay, then we have number 2. Hopefully you got this right. A baby is born after spending 9 months inside the womb. After that, we move to childhood. Okay, childhood. At this stage, you learn to walk and talk. Then we move into adolescence. Children become teenagers. Then we have Mr. Adult, Mr. Adult, adulthood. Your body is fully developed. Okay, and then 6, Mr. Osborne's not reached it yet, but old age, the last stage of the life cycle of a human. Okay, so hope that quick warm up has got our brains thinking. Okay, hopefully it wasn't too hard for you. And let's move on and have a look at today's learning. Okay, so today's learning, okay, and for the next few sessions, we're going to be looking at identifying the name of the main parts of the human circulatory system. Okay, and today's main focus will be looking at the heart, and there's a nice diagram of the heart down there. Okay, a nice animation there. So we'll be looking at the human circulatory system, but today's main focus, okay, which is part of that system, is going to be the heart. Okay, so another animation there. So throughout, what I'd like you to be doing is maybe making some notes, take some notes down, and at the end there'll be a little bit of a quiz. Okay, if you don't take notes, that's always fine. When you get to the quiz, you can always go back, look through the video to find the answers. So off we go. So key vocabulary for today is circulatory system, arteries, veins, and capillaries. Okay, it says here your circulatory system is made up of 3 parts: the heart, blood vessels, and blood itself. Arteries carry blood away from the heart to the body cells. Veins carry blood away from the cells back to the heart. And then the capillaries allow food and the gases to move in and out of the blood. Okay, that's some of the key vocabulary that you'll need today. Okay, if you haven't got an understanding of that at the moment, that's absolutely fine, because that's what we're going to move on to learn and understand. Okay, so first question: what do you think the heart is made of? Hopefully my video is not in the way. What do you think the heart is made of? Maybe take a pause to have a think. Okay, feel your chest, you might feel your heart beating. Okay, so I can hear some people saying to me, what do you think the heart is made of? Well, the heart is a muscle. Okay, the heart is made of muscle. It's important okay, like all of our muscles, it's important that you exercise regularly because the heart is a muscle, and just like your muscles in your legs and arms, the fitter you are, the stronger your heart will become and the better it will work. Okay, so you might be wondering, how big is your heart? Just clench your fist, okay, and that is about the size of your heart. So that is a muscle within your body, and one of the most important muscles within your body. Okay, so what is the job of the heart? Now, like we just discussed, the heart is a very strong muscle and plays a huge part in for you being healthy. It keeps blood in your circulatory system flowing. Now, your heart first pumps the blood to your lungs. Here, the blood picks up oxygen from the air that you have breathed in and out. The blood carrying the oxygen then travels back to your heart. The heart then gives the blood a second push. Now, this time it's sent all around your body to the various organs and tissues. Then finally, the blood travels back to the heart, and so it begins. Okay, so a few key words coming up there. Okay, looking at the blood is carrying oxygen. Okay, the heart gives the blood a push. So the blood doesn't just flow through your heart once, it goes around twice. Okay, now tell you what, let's have a look at that. It's a nice animation just come up there. Okay, so let's have a look at this in a little bit more detail. Okay, we've got a bigger image over here. Here we go. So the heart is made up of 4 different blood-filled areas, and each of these areas is called a chamber. There are 2 chambers on each side of the heart. One chamber is on the top, okay, you can see that with my arrow, okay, and then one chamber is on the bottom. Now, the 2 chambers on the bottom, as you can see here from our illustration, we have the left ventricle and we have the right ventricle. Now, their job is to squirt blood, squirt's a technical word there, squirt blood down to the body and the lungs, okay? Running down the middle between those 2 ventricles, we have the septum. The septum's job is to separate the left and right side of the heart. Okay, now the atrium and the ventricles work as a team. Okay, the atrium is filled with blood and then push it to the ventricles. The ventricles then squeeze, pumping blood out of the heart. Now, while the ventricles are squeezing, the atrium refill and they get ready for the next contraction. Okay, let's move on. Let's have a look. Okay, so the blood moves through many tubes, arteries and veins. Now, we will look at how blood is carried around the body in videos when we move on, and lessons which we move on, sorry, which work together, and these are called blood vessels. So we will look at these separately, but it's still worth knowing today. So these blood vessels are attached to the heart. The blood vessels that carry the blood away from the heart are called arteries, okay, and the ones that carry the blood back into the heart are called veins, okay. Now, we will look at that in a separate lesson, okay. The human body needs a steady supply of blood to keep it working right. Blood delivers oxygen to all the body's cells. To stay alive, a person needs healthy, living cells. Without oxygen, these cells would die. Sorry, my dog's up and making noise. If that oxygen-rich blood doesn't circulate as it should, a person could die. Okay, so just to recap, we have our chambers, we have our 2 chambers, we have our left ventricle, we have our right ventricle. They both push blood down to the lungs and through the body. Then we have our atriums up here, left and right atriums. We've talked about our blood vessels there, and our arteries and our veins, okay? And we also just quickly discussed about the importance of oxygen going into our bodies, and without the oxygen-rich blood, then we would not be alive. Okay, time for a quick quiz. Hopefully you've been listening. Let's check. So number 1, where does the blood pick up oxygen? Number 2, where does the blood go to when the heart gives a second push? And number 3, after blood has been delivered to the body, it goes back to the blank. Okay, have a go at these. If you're not sure, feel free to rewind back, have a look, and then have a go at writing down the answers. Okay, I'll give you a couple of minutes. You might want to pause the video there, and then I'll see you in a couple of minutes. Okay, so you're back already. So where does the blood pick up oxygen? Well, we all know that the heart pumps blood around the body, and the blood picks up the oxygen that you breathe in from the lungs. Okay, so if you've got the lungs down there, well done. Where does the blood go to when the heart gives a second push? Well, the heart has already been to the lungs on the first push, and on the second push from the heart, it goes to the organs around your body. Okay, and then number 3, hopefully it was the simplest of the bunch. After the blood has been has delivered oxygen to the body, it goes back to the heart. So after the blood has delivered oxygen to the body, it goes back to the heart. Okay, so the circulatory system, how does it work? Now, earlier on we visited that the circulatory system is made up of 3 things: the heart, blood vessels, and blood itself. So blood and the heart make up the circulatory system. And here are 3 important facts you need to remember. Okay, now we're going to have a little quiz on this straight after, so make sure you're listening. So blood moves food and oxygen around the body. Okay, now we know that to survive, a human needs food, oxygen, and water to be within the body. It circulates around the body through 3 kinds of blood vessels. Okay, arteries, veins, and capillaries, okay, which we discussed earlier when we looked at the heart in detail. The heart pumps the blood through the blood vessels so that food and oxygen can get to all cells of the body. Okay, now quick quiz time. Here we go. Okay, so here we are, quick quiz on the circulatory system. Okay, the organs in the body require food, water, and blank to make energy. Number 2, what does the heart do? Now we should know that quite easily. Number 3, what parts make up the circulatory system? And number 4, what parts of the body need to be supplied with oxygen, food, and water from the blood? Okay, now, like I said before, if you're not so sure, why don't you just rewind the video back and have a good look and maybe make some notes down. Take a couple of minutes on these, pause the video, come back, and we'll go through the answers together. Okay, so you're back already. So the organs in the body require food, water, and I'm sure I could hear people shouting to me, oxygen to make energy. What does the heart do? The heart pumps blood around the body, nice and simple. What parts make up the circulatory system? The blood travels around every part of the body in veins and arteries. And then finally, okay, all parts of the body need to be supplied with oxygen, food, and water. Every part of it, every part of the body needs blood to travel to it. Okay, so a quick recap on what we've been looking at today. We have been looking to identify and name main parts of the human circulatory system. Now in this session, we had a real focus on the heart and the major role that the heart plays within that system. Next time, we will be looking to continue with looking at the human circulatory system, and our main focus will be blood and looking at the elements that go into making up blood that flows through our body. Okay, see you next time. Goodbye.